Hello, my dear friends. So, this is Shalin Gupta, and I'm continuing giving lecture on electrical drives. So, till now we have studied DC drives. Now we need to study AC drive. How these two are different? Let us discuss something about that. So, what we learned about DC drive, we control the speed of a DC motor, separately excited DC motor. So, let me just write the torque speed characteristic of this DC motor. So, we have got the torque of the DC motor, the electromagnetic torque is K into VA divided by RA minus K square into omega, where K is the machine constant, VA is the armature voltage, R is the armature winding resistance, and omega is the speed. This equation can be derived with the basic three equations, which is the armature circuit equation, that is VA is equal to EB plus IA RA, where EB is the back EMF, IA is the armature current, and here EB is equal to K into omega. K is the machine constant, and torque is equal to the electromagnetic torque is equal to K into IA. With these three equations, we can always derive this equation, which tells us the relation between the electromagnetic torque versus omega. If you see, you can equate this equation with this mx plus c type equation, where this x is this thing omega and this c is this thing. So m is here minus k square. This m is minus k square. This is the negative slope line. So we can draw this the curve. So what it will be? It will look like this. So this is torque, and this is your omega. So you can always draw like this. So this is a negative slope line. As speed increases, the torque of the machine, uh, sorry, as the torque increases, the speed of the machine decreases. This is the natural phenomena of a DC motor. So, if we want to control, let us also have this is the motor torque. Let us have a load torque. So, this is our load torque. Let me draw with different. So, this is the our load torque. Load characteristic. Okay, so this is motor characteristic. So we already know that the operating point will be somewhere here where the characteristic intersect this point A. Now, if the demand arises that the low that hello, just excuse me. Yes, if this load, if we want to run this load at a different speed, here this is omega 1. Now we want to run the this load at this speed, at half of this W1, which is W2. So what we need to do, uh, uh, the DC motor, we can move this the characteristic of this DC motor such that the new DC motor characteristic will now intersect this operating point where the load is needs to be operated. So it will be like this. So this is the shifted DC motor characteristic. And how we can shift it? We just what we need to do, we need to vary this C, because this intersection point depends upon M and C value. Uh, at this line, this torque will be 0. So if we maintain this has to be 0, so for M is equal to 0, X is equal to minus C by M. So this point depends upon the value of C and M. M we cannot vary because M is equal to minus K square. K is the machine constant. It is fixed as we design the machine. So we cannot vary this M, but we can always vary this C. How? We can vary this VA or RA. So till now in your DC motor, you have learned that how we can just change the armature voltage of a DC motor. Till now we have learned the method through a DC to DC chopper. We have also implemented that to design the speed controller of that DC motor. So this VA will now become capital D VS. So this VA will be capital D into Vs, where Vs is the supply voltage to the chopper and D is the duty ratio. So as the D, so, hello my dear friend, sorry for the interruption. The video just got turned off. So let us continue. So we were talking about shifting this characteristic, the motor characteristic, to shift the operating point from A to B, such that the load starts working now at omega 2 speed. So let us say this characteristic is for duty ratio 1. Now if we decrease this duty ratio to D1, then this x-axis coordinate will change. This C value will uh, the C value will change. So as per the C changes, the point shifts from this point to this point, and therefore this characteristic shifts to change the operating point from A to B. Now this is easier in DC motor because we have got decoupling between armature winding and field winding. Decoupling means if we control the current in the field winding, there is no effect in the armature winding, and if we control the armature winding current, then there is no effect on the field winding current. So there is a decoupling in DC motor. That's why we can easily shift this axis, this characteristic. But when we talk about AC drives in a AC motor like a three-phase induction motor, so there is no decoupling between the field winding and armature winding. There is one single winding, that is stator winding, and second is on the rotor winding. So the magnetization current and the load current both has to flow from the same winding, the stator winding. Therefore, there is no decoupling between these two, and if you vary one of them, then the second is also affected. So we can study that in detail. So let us have some review of induction motor, three-phase induction motor. So let us have a three-phase induction motor. So three-phase induction motor. So let us say there is one stator. Okay, there is another stator. So there are field windings, or let us say three-phase winding on the stator. Let us say this is A phase, B phase, and C phase. So the advantage of having a three-phase winding, especially shifted by 120 degrees, is that it creates a magnetic field in air gap that rotates. So this let's say this is the magnetic field. So this will start rotating on this axis. Sorry. So this will start rotating. Let us say at some speed, which is also called as synchronous speed. And this synchronous speed depends upon that is ns is equal to fs. We should not write fs, f into 120 divided by p, where f is the frequency of the supply which we are feeding in this three-phase winding, and p is the number of pole of this DC motor. So ns is in rpm, and this omega s is in radian per second. So these are the same thing, just converted. This is per minute quantity, this is per second quantity. So we can always change this frequency, supply frequency, and number of pole of the machine to get a variable uh, magnetic field, variable speed magnetic field. So uh, ultimately what we have a rotating magnetic field. This will rotate in air gap. Now if we put a rotor inside this, so let us put a rotor. So this is a rotor. So here is the stator, and here is the rotor. On rotor, let us say there are conductors. So this is one conductor, this is another conductor. And if we apply right hand FBI rule, then a current will be induced in upper conductor, which will be out of this page, and in the bottom conductor it will be into this page. So when we apply right hand grip rule, so we will get a magnetic field that will be oriented in this direction. So we can say that this magnetic field which is generated by stator winding, let us say this is phi AG, air gap flux, and this flux which is in this direction, this is phi A, the armature flux, or let us say this to be rotor flux. Okay, so we can just take the magnet equivalent of this whole phenomena, because that will be more visible to all. Visible means it will be you can understand physically what is happening. So let us say there are three-phase winding. So this is the magnetic field which has been generated by the stator winding. So we have got let us, this is north pole and this is south pole of the stator. Okay, now this is inducing this is having a magnetic field like this. This will be phi, what you said, AG, air gap flux. Now there will be rotor flux, and the rotor flux is in this direction. So In the rotor, it will be north here and south here. Okay, now we can see that these magnet are oriented perpendicular to each other. So what will happen? This north pole will be attracted toward this south pole, and because this rotor can rotate on this axis, on its axis, so it will experience a torque. So this rotor will experience a torque, which is also called as electromagnetic torque, because this torque is generated because of the electrical nature of uh, this magnetic the uh, the magnetic field which was generated due to electrical currents. So this is called electromagnetic torque. Now we can see that there is a 90-degree angle between these two. So if you see go on in the to the fundamentals, uh, so your electromagnetic torque, as we have studied in the DC motor as well, electromagnetic torque is directly proportional to your uh, your main flux. This is phi Ag, and the phi A. Phi A is the flux due to armature field winding, armature winding. So here it is. This is the armature winding. This is the rotor. This the induced EMF uh, is being present in this rotor, and this is generating your flux phi A. Okay. So what it means? It means that this electromagnetic torque depends on the strength of this phi Ag, this quantity phi Ag and phi A. And what is phi Ag? Phi A is the magnetic field generated by these poles. So exactly this strength matters. What is the strength of this magnet, north pole and south pole, and what is the strength of these magnets, the induced magnet? So higher the strength of these magnets, higher will be the torque. And also sine theta, sine we should say delta, because delta we call it as load angle, and this is the angle between this phi A and phi Ag. So we can see at the starting this delta, this is delta. So at the starting this delta is 90 degree. So maximum torque is being generated at the starting when the rotor was stationary. Now as we know that this magnetic field is rotating, it means this north and south pole, they both are rotating in nature. This is rotating at omega s speed. So when this is rotating, so what it will do, it will drag this rotor as well, and due to this drag, this rotor will also uh, have a speed. Let us say this rotor is rotating at a speed omega r, and after some time, uh, the orientation of these phi A and phi Ag will adjust uh, such that the steady state electromagnetic torque is equal to the load torque. So at load torque, this del will be less than 90 degrees. So that will depend upon how much torque this motor has to supply. So uh, so at a steady state, it could look like something like this. So this is your stator, and your magnet could be oriented like this. So this will be phi A, and this will be phi Ag. This will be phi Ag, and this will be phi A. Now this will be your delta. So at a steady state, whatever the delta will be decided as per the how much torque this motor has to generate. So it will depend upon the load torque. So higher the load torque, higher will be the delta. Lower the load torque, lower will be the delta. If there is no load, then this delta will be minimum to minimum. But this delta, mind you, cannot be zero, because as soon as it is zero, it means that uh, this rotor gets aligned with this and there is no torque. So del is equal to zero, torque will be also be zero. So this will always take place when the rotor speed is equal to the synchronous speed. At that place, there will be no induced EMF in the rotor, because there is no relative speed, there is no flux cutting action uh, in the rotor conductors, and that's why there will be no current inside this, and there will be no torque as well. So this is the broader picture. Um, now, uh, now let us go into the equivalent circuit diagram of this induction motor. So in the next lecture, we will get the equivalent circuit model. Okay, thank you.